Welcome to 360 Success Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ryan Knight. Today, I'd like to start with a quote by Vex King. It says, sometimes people will look at your life, your patience, your positivity, and assume that you've had it easy. They haven't seen the countless times you've resurrected yourself when you were feeling dead inside. You see the grace, not the grit. You get to see the peace, but not the process. The success, but not the struggle. The strength, not the story. The smile, but not the scars. They assume your journey has been free of storms. They see your wisdom, but not your wounds. The calm, but not your chaos. Your progress, but not your problems. Your resilience tells a story that they will never fully know. They see the victory lap, but they don't see the years of training. When I read that quote, I was reminded of most successful stories that I've heard from people that I've gotten to know over the years that have achieved ultra success. Everyone sees you standing on top of the mountain or in the pursuit of your dream and your goal. And when you've had some success, oftentimes it seems like it's overnight. They will think, whoa, it came easy. I don't know any success that's ever come easy. Matter of fact, oftentimes it takes generations. I just want to share a story about my family. I'm literally one generation from dirt floors. That's right. I have a doctorate, but my dad was born in a little town in Missouri in a shack. My grandparents were sharecroppers on a cotton farm, and he was born at home with dirt floors, and he did not have indoor plumbing until he was 16. His family grew up always farming, usually other people's land and property. Eventually they moved up to Michigan and they had their own little blueberry operation while they farmed other people's blueberries as well and harvested those. But that work ethic, even my grandfather, he did not know how to read or write. My dad had to teach him to sign his name because he would just make an X before that. And that almost seems inconceivable this day and age. But I'll tell you what, the work ethic and the ability or the lack of the ability to quit is one of the things that drove me to the success I experience today. I always tell people there's no quit in me. And it's hard to defeat somebody that will not quit. And no matter what life throws at you, don't quit. Don't ever give up. I always like to say, look, you're either going to see me at the top of the mountain, which represents my goal, or I'm going to die on the side of the mountain, but I'm still going to be headed toward or facing toward the summit. If I do not succeed, that's where you'll find me. I've lived my life that way. I just will not quit, no matter how hard things get. And things are going to get hard. They always do. But having people to speak positivity into your life, my dad, when I was younger, he did construction and he ended up injuring his back and becoming disabled after a couple back surgeries, and he could barely walk. And, I remember that although he was a hard worker, he was the first one in his family to even get any sort of college, got his associate's degree while working full time. But I can remember him crawling around the house on his elbows and crying in pain. And then I remember people from church bringing groceries over to our house. I remember the look on my dad's face when he could not feed us, his own family. And I will tell you what, that's one of the reasons why I'm a chiropractor today, by the way. I never wanted to be anything but a doctor. But a chiropractor is what got my dad back to where he could walk and he could function. And he went back to work. I don't know anyone that's ever been on Social Security disability and got off. But he did, because he knew he was meant for more and his family was meant for more than that. Now, if you're in that situation, I'm not putting that down, but I can just tell you that he could not stay there. And so he did not. And he learned to work with pain. And like I like to say, play with pain. Any athletes out there, that if you're going to be successful, you're going to rise to the top, you have to learn to play with pain. And so my dad did that, and he always taught me to do that. And it was never give up. I remember when he would take me to school sometimes, he would say, son, I want you to know you can do anything you set your mind to. And he said that over and over again. And he also used to call me Dr. Knight. I can remember about fifth grade, I would be on my way to school with him, and he would lean over and he would tap me on the leg or pat me on the chest. He's like, you going to have a good day today, Dr. Knight? And he did that throughout my school career. In the mornings when we had breakfast together, he would just say, don't forget, Dr. Knight, you can do anything you set your mind to. And I want to leave you with that today, that you really can do anything that you commit to if you will not quit. And if you don't know the way, find a mentor to help you find the way. You've heard it said, I will either find a way or I will make a way. And you really have to have that attitude when it comes to success, that I will not give up and I will not give in. And I'm not just talking about financial success, I'm talking about marriage as well. I've been married to my wife, Amy, for 32 years. We have survived chiropractic school, which they tell you that half of you that are married, or more than half of you, when you start, you will not be married when you leave. And we got married right in the middle during the hardest part. And 32 years later, we got married during school. We built a business. We remodeled a 100-year-old home in the process. And I'm telling you, personally, I think we're like unicorn level success when it comes to that, because we have had to really work hard because we would not quit. Our thing was when we first got married, or before we got married, we had a discussion and we said, I just want you to know that divorce is not an out. We will not mention the word. I believe that you can work through and you can solve any problem with effective communication and with grace. And we've made that part of our life, and we've carried that same attitude into our business as well, into our family life, into our spiritual life. Not to say there hasn't been problems. I'll probably share that on another podcast, but there have been some dark years but we were committed, and we made decisions on the front end that we would not quit and we would not stop. And same thing in business or in anything in life. You make the decisions early. John Maxwell says successful people make fewer decisions, but they manage those decisions longer than most people. And we made decisions early in our marriage, early in our business, and then we managed those decisions throughout our career. 32 years of marriage, 30 years of practice, and we have seen great success because we would not quit, but we also committed to continually getting better and improving. I just want to encourage you today that don't give up wherever you are. Put a stake in the ground and determine that I'm going to grow and I'm going to get better where I am and continue to move forward on the mission that God gave me. Because I'm telling you, if it truly is a mission, if it truly is a God-given mission, and you believe that, you cannot be shaken from that. I heard, I think it was Ed Milet say the other day that, it's kind of rough for some people, but it says, look, if the storms of life or the chaos or catastrophe or whatever take you off your mission, you're going to fail anyway. Think about that. If the storms of life or chaos or catastrophe, and we all know that you're going to have those things, but you do not get through this life without the bumps and bruises and wounds. But if those things take you off mission, whether it be in your faith, your family, your personal health, or your financial goals in your business, if you're taken off course, then you were probably going to quit anyway. So don't quit. There's hope, and you truly can have 360 success in your life, in your faith, in your family, in your personal fitness, and in your finances. Again, I'm Dr. Knight. Thanks for joining me today. Let's bring that success full circle.